So in this video, I wanted to take a look at one of my favorite big box pens. So it's like a pen sold at Staples or Office Max or Target, those places. And it's not typically where I get my pens, but when I do, I find this is one of the top offerings there. And that is the PaperMate InkJoy gel. I have it here in both the capped and retractable versions. I tend to prefer the retractable, but both are very good and both write really well. And if you're at one of those stores, I think people tend to grab a Pilot G2 or maybe a Signo 207, 307, but this pen is worth considering as well. And it's typically sold in 3, 4, and 12 packs, I think, and they're all very reasonably priced. I'll link to some below in the notes. Here it is in the retractable version, and the pen is characterized by this matte material, and this is a rubberized grip. It goes from the tip to the actual section where you hold, but it also extends up the pen, which is cool. Just gives it a nice look to it, a very distinctive look, with not too many pens extend their soft touch material all the way up. Here we have a hard plastic window, so you can see how much ink is left. Plus you could just kind of cool to see inside. PaperMate logo, plastic clip that is just fine. These clear plastic clips tend to break very easily, so tend to be careful with this one. And then a metallic button. I believe this is just coated plastic, so nothing too fancy. Here we have the PaperMate logo, those two hearts, and here we have the inverse of those two hearts, which is just a clever little design flourish. Good button or good retraction mechanism. Firm click, and then the button goes fully flush, which is nice. I don't know if anyone really cares, but it is nice that it goes all the way. And that's pretty much it for the retractable. This one, I can't seem to open up. I thought it would open, but maybe it doesn't. There is a seam here, but it doesn't seem to want to open. So I'm not sure that the retractable is user serviceable or refillable for that matter. Here we have the capped version of the PaperMate InkJoy gel, also in a 0.7 millimeter, and clear hard plastic cap. Nothing fancy going on there. Same clip. And then we have the same grip mechanism with the window. This one does have a little bit of chrome plastic up top, sort of like a finial. Same grip. And then this one's brand new, haven't used this yet. And then also with the grippy front area, but this one is more of a hard plastic than this one. This is fully grip coated. This looks grippy, but it's just a hard plastic that's textured to be grippy, to seem like the grip. I'm not really sure, except to say that here you can open this one up. So this is a serviceable mechanism, whereas here, this grip, like this may actually be one piece with a faux seam, which I can't open it up here. So I think that would explain why this is a textured hard plastic, not the grip material. You can unscrew it easily, and then you can replace this or use this in a different pen. And this is just the PaperMate 0.7 millimeter in blue, obviously. One little thing I would note that is kind of cool is on the back, the pens have these sort of divots here, which I think are just design. They don't really help the grip at all. And here you could see on the retractable one that it's a seam. So sort of like this was made so it wrapped around and it joined here, or maybe just like when it was injected from the machine, or when it was in the injection molding machine, the seam between the two parts was right here. It's more likely. And you can see it right here. So two parts clamped down, it was injected. This is the seam between those two parts. It actually looks a little bit like it was stitched, as if these were the holes of the stitching. And this is the I don't know, the thread that went from hole to hole, almost like a leather. Obviously it's not leather, but it's kind of cool that it worked out like that, whether it was on purpose or by mistake. So there you have the InkJoy gel in a 0.7 millimeter. I bought them, in a pack like this. PaperMate InkJoy gel, 4-pack, retractable. I think it's like $3-4, maybe a little bit more, maybe 5, but not more than that. I really like these two, just a solid everyday pen. I prefer the PaperMate InkJoy in a gel. It's also sold in a pretty good ballpoint, but I think the gel is a little bit more fun to write with. And do a quick writing sample. It is a gel and it is on the wet side, so you can see like up here and over here. Over here, there's a little bit of like globbing or messiness, which it is a kind of a looser, inkier, or like, a little bit more watery gel. So you can see there is some, or maybe that didn't happen there, but there can be some accumulation if you're writing fast. Nothing too bad. But you could definitely pick up on a smooth rollerball or gel type experience. Pretty good blue coloring, and just a solid everyday pen. If you're in a Target or Walgreens or whatever you have by you, and you want something aside from a Pilot G2 or Uniball, your Signo 207, 307, I think this is definitely a good option. I know a lot of people prefer these as they're just general everyday office type pen, and I've definitely started to appreciate them more, whereas I used to always just go for the Pilot G2. Ultimately, I do think the Pilot G2 is a better pen, and I prefer writing with it, but this has a nice design. I like the grippiness. The ink is pretty good, reasonably fast to dry, not as good as Zebra, but definitely solid. And these pens are affordable and something you might find in your office, so keep an eye out for them. That's the PaperMate InkJoy gel, not the ballpoint, the gel, in a capped and retractable version, and I do prefer the retractable. Thanks for watching.